better job this time around at documenting day in the life as a birth photographer and or doula. And so I'm going to do that this time around. I just got the text message probably a few hours ago that mom thought her water had broken, and she decided that she wanted to go check and see if her water had been broken or not. And sure enough, it was her water, and she is about 3 centimeters dilated now. So I informed my sitters, trying to put my little one down for a nap, and made some coffee, immediately charged my camera batteries, and now I'm just continuing doing my day-to-day life of what I planned on doing, because I can't just sit around and wait. And so I'm gonna just continue to do what I had planned. And right now that is printing out some labels for the toys downstairs. About 2 hours later, and I just got a text message that her contractions are about 4 to 5 minutes apart, which is still kind of the early labor stage. So now I am just going to get myself ready for the day. And I am just tidying up my house because whether it's my husband that'll be home with the boys or a sitter, I want the house to be as neat as possible, just so they're easily able to find things. And I feel like myself and my boys, and especially my husband, functions way better with less clutter and less mess. And so I don't ever want to run off to work and leave the house a disaster. Now sometimes I have to, because obviously birth can move quickly, but on these slower births, when I've had lots of notification, I kind of like to get a head start on that, so I'm not stressed and my husband's not stressed, or my sitter's not dealing with a crap show. So I've also been nourishing my body, especially because I'm also pregnant. I want to make sure that I stay hydrated and fueled and just have the energy, because I never know how long I'm going to be out of birth, especially sometimes I think it's going to be a quick birth and it ends up being really long, or sometimes I think it's going to be a long birth and it ends up being really quick. And so you just never really know. So I always want to go in feeling nourished, hydrated, and just ready to be the best photographer in this case as I can. You can do this. It is now evening time. My client is having a lot more consistent contractions. I think she's about 5 centimeters now. So I am getting ready to probably head that way in the next hour or two. Thankfully my husband will be off work. He could have came home a little bit earlier if I needed him to, but everything worked out. We made some cookies. I'm warming up lunch or dinner, and yeah. So, okay, it is now like 9 o'clock at night. Several hours. I got my first message, I think, at like 9 o'clock this morning. And I am headed off to the birth. Got my water, got my bag, and I'm off. I don't know how much I'll record at the actual birth. I tend to get focused and I forget, but we'll see if I can get a few clips of me doing my thing. Thankfully, I got there when I did, because my client ended up being 10 centimeters, but it wasn't time to push yet. Since she was a first-time mom, they were allowing her body to just kind of move baby down until she felt more pressure, and then we could start pushing. During this time, I like to get wide shots, up-close shots. I also like to just kind of stay out of the way and just kind of read how mom is feeling. I don't want to interrupt her rhythm she has going if she's handling contractions really well, but I also want to be able to document their story, because that's what they hired me to do. So I just try to read the room, read mom, and document the details and her in labor. I don't constantly snap photos,
or videos, I snap a few and then I take a few steps back and I just hold some space and see how mom's doing, if she's made position changes or if there's something going on, like if she's moving her leg or tapping her finger. I try to key in on those details, especially for video. Now it is time to start pushing, and this is also before things started to get a little intense. Thankfully, baby came out crying and pink and healthy as can be.
So that was a super quick birth. Mama did amazing. I'm sitting in the car right now just because I have something to say, and I feel like if I go home and go to sleep, I'm not going to remember everything. Well, I'm going to always remember this moment. We have to do better. We absolutely have to do better, especially OBs, hospital workers. You have to do better. It is never, ever, ever acceptable to yell at a mom and cuss at her. I don't care if it's an emergency situation or not. There's never an okay time to do that in any situation. Like, I've experienced quite a few births. I've given birth 3 times myself. There's a point in labor when you're pushing, when you want to give up, and especially when everyone's like talking. There's like 5 or 6 or 7 people talking, and you're just like, stop talking, like shut up. And it gets to a point where they don't listen and respect your wishes for your birth. And so you curse a little bit. But for the OB that you're supposed to feel safe with and trust, to get in your face and say, well, push the effing baby out, just absolutely blows my mind. That anybody would think that would be acceptable, emergency situation or not. And yes, it was an emergency situation. Baby had to get out quickly. So I just need to say a PSA for those of you who work in the medical field with moms. We've got to do better. We have to do better. That is absolutely no way to treat a mom in labor, emergency situation or not. It is the next day after the birth last night, which ended up being a little traumatic at the end, and it didn't have to be that way. And as a birth worker, a doula, a photographer, I wasn't a doula in the situation, and so it made it a little challenging because I couldn't vocalize as much as I wanted to or prepare the mom to advocate for herself in these areas. As a birth worker, those traumatic births that we witness can also have an effect on us the next day. And although this was the shortest birth that I've been to in a long time, I got there and she was already 10 centimeters. So I was there about 3 hours in total, maybe 4. It was one of the most mentally draining. So today, the next day, I'm taking a mental health day, a post-traumatic birth day. And yeah, I'm just gonna be intentional with this time. I've talked to and processed with another good friend and she's a birth photographer as well, and so I processed the birth with her. And now I'm heading to get a pastry and coffee, gonna listen to some worship music and just kind of
decompress from that. I'm gonna reach out to the mom later today and just check in and see how she's doing. Like I said, I wasn't her doula with this birth, just a photographer, but I have a doula heart and I just want to make sure she's okay, because I feel like we just drop out. We prepare so much for the pregnancy and the birth. You know, some people don't even prepare for the birth. A lot of people don't. And then postpartum is just completely forgot about, but that's like one of the crucial parts. As I close out of this video, I just wanted to remind you, Mama, you were made to birth this baby. Your body was created to do this, and your body knows what to do. Please do not let any person bully you into anything that you do not want to do. If you and baby are healthy, you can have the birth that you desire. Hired your birthing staff to support you and your baby and your plan, not to make their life any easier. Advocate for yourself and make sure that your support person knows your birth plan and can advocate for you as well, especially during transition and especially if you do not have a doula there with you. Thank you so much for watching. It just brings me so much joy that I get to share all of these amazing birth stories, not so great birth stories, birth tips with you all, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.